Well, hi everybody. Today we're going to be going over the Carenado YMF-5. I'll show you how to start it up, how to take it off, and how to land it. We'll keep our fingers crossed that I can do either one of those things. And I don't think it'll be a long video. The Waco is pretty simple. So let's go ahead and hop in the cockpit and get started. Okay, well, this is the cockpit in the Waco. It's pretty simple. Now we're, as always, going to go through the tablet real quick. The tablet here has these options here, which are static elements and external power. Your static elements are like pitot covers and covers for the plane, and chocks and 2 cones. So we're going to turn those off. And then the external power is an external power unit that kind of sits outside by the plane. We're going to turn that off. Now you can hide or show the pilot. We're going to leave him on because you can't see him in the cockpit anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then you have the ability to cover up the front seat or open the front seat, and the windscreen up here will pop up for it. So we'll hop into the front seat real quick so you can see what it looks like. So this is the front seat of the Waco. It's even simpler than the back seat. And we'll go back to the back seat because it's where we're going to fly from. You have an option to open or close the front seat's door. So we closed it. And in order for the external power and static elements to come on, you do have to actually be parked and the engine has to be off. I'm not sure if you have to have the engine off to remove the cover or open the door. See, it helps to read things because it says down here. So these are not starred, so there's no problem, so I should learn to read. So on the next page, you've got your startup options, which are cold and dark, ready for takeoff, and or ready for taxi and ready for takeoff. Now, ready for takeoff, if you click this and then click done, it will just quick start the plane for you, so you won't have to start it up manually or anything. And ready for takeoff, it turns on the landing light and the strobe light, and I'm pretty sure that's all that it does. Next up is the takeoff checklist and the landing checklist. Now, this plane does not have any kind of manual that comes with it, and so the only thing that it does come with is a like control recommendations PDF for how to set up your joystick to get the, as they call it, most out of this plane. That's how I've set it up to fly this plane. It seems to make a little bit of a difference, but not a drastic amount of difference. So, you know, if you are having trouble flying it, then you might want to look at that and change all of that. Maybe that'll help. So to get rid of the tablet, you just click the little white square there. And to make the tablet reappear, you click on top of the stick here, and it'll pop back up. So, go through the instrument panel. Down here in your lower left corner is your carburetor temperature. Then your cylinder head temperature is here, and your exhaust gas temperature. Above those are all of your switches for your lights. So starting on the right side of these switches is your taxi light, your landing light, your nav lights, strobe lights, your pitot heat is here, and beacon lights. And on the far left, you have a knob to adjust the brightness of the instrument panel lights, which we're not able to see because it's the middle of the day. You have this switch here, which is for day and night time for the lights. It seems to make them a little brighter at night. I think. Anyway, then you have your oil pressure gauge and your temperature, your oil temperature gauge here. Have your RPM gauge, your manifold pressure gauge, your airspeed indicator, your turn coordinator, And you have your two compasses here. You have a G meter here, climb indicator here, and your altimeter up here. On the right side of the instrument panel, you have your avionics switch, your battery switch, and your alternator switch. This key is your magnetos, and this is your radio. Now, these little red levers, here is what we're going to call them, are the fuel valves for the right tank and the left tank. So when they're pulled back, they're closed, and when they're pushed forward, they are open. On the right side of your cockpit is your parking brake, and that is disengaged, and that is engaged. On the left side, you have your mixture, which is the red lever here, and your throttle, which is the black lever here. You have your alternate air lever switch, which I don't think you have to use unless the plane ices up, so that should always be open. You have your pitch trim wheel here, and this is your tail wheel lock, which I tend to not use, but it's here. This is the indicator for your where your pitch is. So this is takeoff, this is nose down, You'll figure it out, just have a look. I don't remember if I mentioned the fuel pump switch, but it's right here. So that is all that you need to know for the Waco. We will put the mixture up at rich and start the plane up. So first you want to open up both fuel tanks and come up here to battery, then turn on your alternator, avionics switch, and fuel pump switch. Come over here to your magneto, this little key, turn it all the way to the right. And there we go. The Waco is started. And that's pretty much it. It's a real easy plane to start up. So now we will take it off and attempt to land it. Alright, well, let's go take the Waco off. Turn the lights on here. Now I'm going to leave the Garmin off. The on button is right here if you want to turn it on. And we're going to turn the fuel pump off because it makes kind of this weird humming noise. So, release your park and brake. You want to throttle it up to about 20% to kind of get it moving. Which seems a little high to me, but what do I know? I've never flown a Waco. I mean, that might be right. It is, a 100-year-old aircraft. I think the first one was made in the early 20s. This is actually not technically a Waco, though. It's based off of the YMF-5. And even though the YMF-5 is based off of the Waco, it was made in the 80s by Classic Aircraft Company. And you can still get them today. They still make them. I'm not sure if they're still owned by the same people or it's changed hands, but they're about $250,000, maybe $275,000. This is one of the planes I would really love to fly one day or own, but it's a little out of my price range right now. So it taxis pretty well. You're going to want to watch your brakes because it likes to nose plant itself, especially on landing. Okay. Alright, we're good. I find it really difficult to take this plane off unless I'm heading into the wind. I find crosswinds to be nearly impossible to stay on the runway and actually take off in. So luckily we have a headwind here. we're going to go ahead and take off. So throttle up to about 50%, get yourself rolling. You kind of go up to about 75. You're going to want to hold the stick forward to make sure that your nose stays down, because you want to lift the tail wheel off the ground. When the tail wheel gets off the ground, you want to go up to 100%. Oh, we don't want to hit the bear. And then you can get it off the ground at about, 65 is probably safe. I believe stall speed is about 59. And so we will turn around here and take it in for a landing. Now, you don't have to worry about damaging the Waco. It only has sort of the standard Microsoft Flight Simulator damage, so if you overspeed it or you overstress the airframe, it'll break it, but you're not going to have to worry about overheating the engine or anything. So you can leave it at full throttle, and it'll do, I think, about 130 at 100%. So the one thing I did want to check on, because I always hope that one day they're going to do this, is see if the smoke... Nope, no smoke. Well, that's a little disappointing, but whatever. I do think it would be cool if they put pontoons in this plane, though, which is an option. In the real Waco, you can put pontoons in this plane. I think it would be fun to try and take off and land this thing in the water. Considering that every plane in Microsoft Flight Simulator now has pontoons on it, it would be a neat addition to this plane. But I am not holding out hope, so we'll take it in here and hopefully land it. Now you're going to want to come in at about 80 miles an hour. And you're actually going to want to touch down somewhere in between 60 and 70. We will not three-point land this plane. We will land it the way it should be landed, which is on the front two wheels only. So we're going a little fast here. That's okay. Just a little bit of a bounce. And once you get below stall speed, pull back on the stick to put the tail wheel on the ground. And keep feathering your brakes. Do not hold them down, you will nose plant this plane. Alright, well, that is how you start up, take off, and land the Waco. Be sure you do it into the wind. It is very, very difficult to do it with a crosswind. I did want to preview the startup sound for the Waco. I turn it down so it's easier to hear me speak when I do the review and everything. So this is what it sounds like. Alrighty, so if you would like to purchase the Carenado YMF-5, it's only available in the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace. It's $14.99. as far as the quality of the plane goes, the texture quality, in my opinion, is one of the best in the game. The rivets aren't a texture; they are actually modeled onto the aircraft. So it look it looks absolutely amazing. It's one of the few planes I actually spend most of my time flying around in the external view. The sound quality is excellent. It's not an aerobatic plane. It has an incredibly slow roll rate. It will do loops and stalls and everything, but you probably want to be, I don't know, probably above like about 3,000 feet until you kind of figure out how much space you need to do everything. It's not that fast. It really only goes a little over 100 miles an hour. I mean, you can probably push it up to about 130, but it's not that fast. It does have an okay range. I mean, it's about 450 miles, but you know, it's going to take you a while to go 450 miles in a plane. Now, as far as landing in a crosswind, I would say that a 3-point landing will probably help with that, but I still haven't had a lot of success with crosswinds in this plane, so you know, have fun with that one. But overall, it's a great little plane that I've had a lot of fun with, and that's going to be it for today. So thanks for watching, and hope there's a next time, and I'll close this out with the Waco Liveries.